Hello everyone and welcome to a new lesson with Miss Rafa. Today we're going to complete with Unit 8, Essay. We're going to focus on the listening and the speaking skill. So if you're ready, let's get started. Listening and speaking. Page 79. Before you listen, match the words 1 to 5 below to their meanings A to E. Criteria. Assess. Embody. Accumulation. Ultimately. Criteria. Standards or principles. Assess. To estimate, to value. Embody. To represent. Accumulation. Gathering, collection. Ultimately. In the end. Question B.
Listen to the first part of an extract about the literary genres theory. Fill in the gaps with the words you hear. Literary genres theory refers to an organising principle that classifies literary works according to specific literary styles of organisation or the internal structure of these works. Literary genres theory refers to an organising principle that classifies literary works according to specific literary styles of organisation or the internal structure of these works. Most of these types are derived from fine literary works whose techniques and rules are transformed, due to a number of social factors, into standards that writers take into account when creating their texts. Most of these types are derived from fine literary works whose techniques and rules are transformed, due to a number of social factors, into standards that writers take into account when creating their texts. Critics make these criteria a starting point in their evaluation of the texts they encounter. Critics make these criteria a starting point in their evaluation of the texts they encounter. In it, readers define their horizons and expectations of texts when reading and assessing them. In it, readers define their horizons and expectations of texts when reading and assessing them. Literary genres are a magnetic field that has a very effective influence in the process of producing and criticising literary works. Literary genres are a magnetic field that has a very effective influence in the process of producing and criticising literary works. Listen to the second part of the extract. Decide whether the following statements are true or false. The writer embodies his vision of the world through his use of the institution of literary genre to convey his artistic, social, and political vision and spread it in his society through the literary work that embodies it. As for the reader, literary genre institution has a coding system that deals with the literary work and draws the horizons of his expectations according to his identity, and ultimately governs his close and distant response to him, just as his specific taste for this literary genre is the result of accumulation of his reading in the different stages of his life.
The writer's vision of the world is embedded as an art form. True. The writer uses literary genre to convey his economic vision and spread it in society. False. The reader believes that the institution of literary genre has a coding system deals with the literary work. True. The reader's specific taste is the result of the accumulation of his readings in his early life. False. Now let's move on to speaking. In pairs, discuss the following questions. What's your favorite type of literature? Why? What did you last read? What was it about? How does literature affect individuals and societies? Do you agree that literature is a reflection of society's cultures? How? Now let's move on to the activity book.
Listen to the following extract, then answer the questions below. The legend of Aladdin's lamp is one of the most famous Arabian legends of all the times. It is the legend of Aladdin's lamp, as well as one of the most prominent folk tales from Arabia. The legend of Aladdin's lamp has captured the imaginations of the young and old from all over the world, as it is part of the collection of legends in the Bank of 1001 Nights. This story tells of a poor young man named Aladdin who goes through a series of adventures after being deceived by an evil wizard. That young man found a small lamp which came out for him from one of the magical places, which helps him to win the love of the princess.
Where does the legend of Aladdin lamp come from? It comes from the Arabia. What does the story tell us? It tells us about a poor young man named Aladdin who goes through a series of adventures. What happened to him? He was deceived by an evil wizard. What did Aladdin find? He found a small lamp. How did the lamp help Aladdin? It helped him to win the love of the princess. Now let's move on to speaking. In groups, discuss the following questions. Have you ever read or heard about a legend? What was it about? What lessons did it teach you? Do you prefer reading imaginative or realistic stories? Why? Question B. Tell your classmates about your ideas. That's everything for today. Thank you very much. See you next lesson.